Thank you very much, Eilish. I think it's very appropriate that Elaine finished up around the resources and checking the resources that are available within your centres. And I'd like to pick up on that theme and just tell you a little bit about some of the resources and supports that are available to you through NALA. I'm going to fly through a lot of this, so excuse the speed of it, because with the short time I just want to focus on particularly how you can access resources. Firstly, I'd like to tell you that everything we do in NALA is about ensuring people with literacy and numeracy difficulties can access programmes that meet their needs, and I think Aoife very quickly brought this event into the idea of learner needs, and that I won't go into what we do. I'd be very happy, and there's plenty of NALA staff here today to go into that with you. I'd just like to say a couple of words around the context for where we are today in terms of accredited programmes and certification and literacy, more general literacy services. There's a lot of change going on, but one thing that we can hold on to is the last bullet point here is that certification is optional for learners. Okay, learners come to develop their learning for whatever reason, and that's fine. However, in order for you to provide that option, you need to know about what certification and what systems are there to support learners who do want it. So it's a bit like assessment. Assessment is essential in learning. You have to check how you're getting on with your learners. You don't have to submit that for accreditation. It is essential, but you need to know, if they do want it, how you do that. So I'd like to point you to 5 resources and supports for your work, and you have the web links there. The first is writeon.ie. WriteOn is a website which was designed to support literacy and numeracy development. It provides certification at level 2 and 3, and it also can support blended learning, where you can bring this into your programs and classrooms to support your accredited programs and non-accredited programs. It has certification built into it, and it also has a process for validating what learners know already. This is called the recognition of prior learning. People aren't at levels. To give you an example, I lived in France for 6 years. My French is very good. I might be up at the level 6 on that, but my Russian is atrocious. So I would be at level 1 in relation to that. But I'm neither a level 1 person or a level 6 person. It depends on the knowledge and skills that I'm doing that would define that. So we have a range of programs and awards within WriteOn, and you can use them to support certification as well as to actually recognise what people know already. It's a really good program, and I'd recommend you check it out. It was designed for learners to use themselves, but we're doing great work with the education and training boards and other community groups around blended learning. The second major point I'd like to talk to you about is Tutors Corner on the NALA website, nala.ie. And this is an absolute treasure trove of resources for yourselves. The fact that you came out today on such a horrible windy morning and gave up a Saturday to focus on your own, developing your own interests and skills in tutoring literacy and in supporting learners, I think tells me that you would be very interested in this particular resource, because we can't do this every week or every day, but you can go into nala.ie, and it has resources for your own professional development as well as resources for learners. I'm going to focus on the resources for learners. So when you go into nala.ie, you go into the Tutors Corner, and this is what you see. Up at the top you have top tips in relation to reading and writing and so on. You have recommended websites and apps you have a whole range of, you have the continuous professional development and a whole range of recommended worksheets. And as well as that, I've got a big blue mark here saying how you can get into resources here, because when you go click on that View All button, and it will bring you to a range of resources that you can look through in relation to what your learner needs. So if your learner is interested in the 24-hour clock, if your learner is interested in writing, if your learner is interested in developing their reading skills, you can check this out and go through it according to their interest, the award, the level, whether they're accredited or not. These resources would be very useful to you in terms of your literacy tuition. So I'd recommend you check that out. It's a really useful and rich resource. It also has, as I said, opportunities to look at other practice, so to inform your own professional development. And no doubt, I think the pieces from Aoife and Elaine and Jane, and indeed from FES might be looked up. We'll get those up, and they might be something that you can look up again. There's a resources facility within writeon.ie, and again, all the workbooks and the TV series, all the resources that NALA have been coded and classified and put in there. The best way into that is through nala.ie. And go in there and check that out. Okay? Element I'd like to just very quickly say is that we, Fergus in NALA and all the staff in NALA, are very keen to support your practice. There's a range of events. There's family literacy conferences, there's numeracy conferences, there's research and case studies, which we'll hear about in a few minutes from Tina. There's videos that you can look at in terms of previous events. There's an e-zine which goes out monthly, which you can access as well. And I'd encourage all of you indeed to become members of NALA, because I think that is the fifth resource and support we can provide to you. So, for example, we would have free membership for learners and for volunteer tutors, and indeed all members of the public who have an interest in literacy can become free members, and it entitles you to a certain range of benefits, including the e-zine and a vote at our AGM, which decides our executive group, our board of directors, if you want, and our direction. So I'm going to stop there. I'd just like to again reinforce the point that because you're here, you're obviously interested in developing your skills as a tutor, as well as supporting the learner, and the resources available through NALA, and joining in terms of joining NALA and becoming a member of NALA and getting that community of practice, I think would be great supports for you.